Hey, bubbling. I want to do a quick video on conjunctions, right? Just to get my thoughts straight, you know? And yeah, one of the things about conjunctions is they're very powerful, right? I feel like a key word for conjunctions is that power. Um, because we always have this dual ability or dual mind, right? In a singular place, right? For example, it's like the head of the household, being on the same page with everyone else in the household, right? They're not off doing separate things. It's like there's a single vision and they're just doing that. So the thing we always find with conjunctions and this power is this sort of ability to get lost in the moment, or the, like, I want to say, because like conjunctions does have this Aryan and powerful like friction to it, right? But the thing about it, rascal, right? But the thing about the power on the conjunctions, the thing about the power is it does remind you of Aries, because when you have this sort of dual concentrated energy, it allows you to get lost in that. And anytime you're just kind of lost in the sauce, right, and you're just going about it, and you're not sort of thinking about the future, this is sort of because you have the ability, right? You have the like everything's together, right? You can just go for it and you can just do it. And anytime you can do this versus, say, a situation where all the pieces aren't together yet, right? You have to get this going, you have to do this before you can go out. You gotta make sure everybody's on the same page. You at least gotta see if everybody's interested in the idea, right? And then you gotta set a plan with everybody. It's like, no, like the idea is already had, everybody's embodying that idea, and now we're just going for it, right? Like everyone knew their piece to the plan versus you're trying to start a plan where people don't even know if they want to be on board, right? And that would sort of be a difference between like a conjunction and sort of the farther we go out through the aspects, right? We're going to see more and more of this sort of opposing energy in different ways. Because right after you get out of conjunction, there is a sort of opposing energy. But the thing is, like, these different styles of these like archetypes, or these like yeah, are they can concentrate in separate ways. For example, earth and air are both active, right? They sort of have this spiriting or new approach to things that they can bring with them. So yeah, so there's the power, and like I said, the ability that everybody's on the same page, right? And when you have a conjunction, this means that everyone's sort of working together and has the same idea, so that there isn't any sort of discombobulation when you're trying to go about something that leads to a sort of instant action, but filtered through whatever place that this conjunction is happening. But a sort of just ability to go through that and yeah, and reap the results, right? So the thing about conjunction, say, versus opposition will be the conjunction, everything's on the same page, you get to do what you want to do, and then see how that sort of affects the world and relates, right? Versus a sort of opposition would be you have to get everybody on the same page, and it's a lot of work to even get that idea, but once you do, now here's where you get like this instant access, right? You unlock this key or this way of relate, this sort of dynamic, right, that you can now incarnate and utilize, which sorts of frees you, but it began with an inability, right? You need to create that path. That's sort of be the opposition versus, like I said, the power when we come to these conjunctions. So yeah, I'd say the things to note about I guess with any sign is I always see the zodiac as like a three-layered thing, where we have the meta, the seasons, and the sort of the modes, right? Like rising, setting, or set, right? And then the seasons, right? Those are like the meta. And we can see that incarnate in cardinal, fixed, mutable, right, being a season, and then fire, earth, air, water being a mode. So yeah. I always like to take those into account. So like once we see these concentrations, like for example, then we have a lot of people that are in this similar space. Like if they're both in between Aries, Taurus, and Gemini to Cancer, there's a sort of conjunction there. It's just that conjunction has to do with meta space. Like these people are all in a personalized realm, right? But how they go about that could be very different, right? Like same with the season. If we had two people like from Aries, Taurus to Gemini, or both in spring, they both conjunct that that fire way to them. They're in a fire way, like the direction that they generally embody is fiery, right? So yeah. So the understanding always comes from now we have these abilities, right? So say if we find these two planets that have a conjunction or they're in the same element or mode, right? And like for example, now we're just talking the meta mode, right? Of spring, two planets are both in spring. They both have this conjunct element to them that is not only selfish and taking over the day, but also very active, right? And sort of claiming the day. So sort of not only just doing it for me, but doing a lot, right? Versus doing it for me, but like refining, not necessarily getting new things done. Yeah. So yeah, that's like basically how you would interpret the conjunctions, right? Is you're trying to like see now what would the ability be versus like the problem, right? If we're doing say spring as an example, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, right? All these have a conjunct in a meta energy of being fire, and so this would dualize that fire quality. So these this spring conjunctions would be very much in their own way, very much, just trying to get it done, but in their own way, right? Fire kind of combining the spring equinox, is selfishness, and the summer solstices, just activity, kind of pointing in between those, like from those cardinal points, is like fire, being both hot and active, right? So that's just the meta direction that we'd find. So we find that on the granted side now, we're able to be hot. We have a bunch of new ideas, and they are good ideas, right? So we have conjunctions, but it's like, well, then we can get lost, especially because this is the cardinal sect, like kind of emphasizing the conjunction, like I said, because it's coming from a fire place now. We're using fires as the backdrop to like a fiery thing, a conjunction, right? So we could say like the sun and the moon, right? Like the new moons in spring, right? Bringing this conjunct quality of selfish expression, right? To where like you can get lost in a way because you have the power to express yourself if you don't necessarily know where that's going to go. But at the other end of the bargain, if when you do really put all your hoops in that basket, right, and concentrate on that self-expressive direction, right, then that could really forge a dynamic or a way for you, right? It's just be careful of the way, because sometimes we need to be a little selfish. Sometimes we need to do new, different things, right? both like these fiery qualities in order to get stuff done. But sometimes the problem can be a lack of short sight if there is a lot of things that we need to stick to, or um, just aren't done, and we're trying to completely do new things that we care about, like on a more personal level. It's like it can get in the way to the point where someone's only chasing this internal delusion if it never sort of fruits back and sort of connects back, right? It didn't sort of have its basis of individuality rooted in like a greater environment, right? So yeah. So yeah, that's just kind of the yin and yang of it, though, right? Fire being active, being dry. It's like just make sure that what you draw and what you care about, right, is something that when it is seen, like that was worth it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just your feelings, but it was like no, you stuck to your gut because there was something behind it. Hopefully, but then like at the same time, it's time to learn too, like total Aries energy, right? And then we have like the hot, right? Just go get new things done. Just don't care. Just keep them coming out, right? And it's like you may make a whole lot of new connections, but you may also put your face and your presence and sort of obtain just experience in different situations that may come back in odd ways, right? Like I was there, like I did that, like I said that, or stuff like that, but still making stuff happen. Very much making stuff happen that you care about, right? Would be this conjunction. So, hey. So that's just that example. But I hope you get the basics. All I'm trying to say is that I was trying to highlight the fact that if it was fire, I would dualize the qualities of fire, right? So then now we know fire has this ability to be selfish, right? And it has this ability to be active or creative, right? Or bring about new. So when we are doubling these qualities, right, through conjunction, right, there's always this like a square, like a squaring of the space it's in, right? Because it's always conjunct in a space, and then based on whatever space it's conjunct in, we'll utilize the attributes of that space, right? So, but there's always the dual element. So like on fire, we said double selfish, make sure that it's a worthy cause, because that could be great, because if someone wasn't quite supporting you, but you actually have a vision to yourself, you could actually, not pursue your vision because someone didn't tell you it was great. But that dual fire is going to say, well, they don't see the vision, like it wouldn't be able to regard that, and it would keep moving in its own path. So it's like, hopefully that's a good path, right? You see the square of the element and how that creates a power dynamic, right? Because now it's not just a point of selflessness. We have a relationship created or a sort of body where now the relationship is here conjunct, right? Together, creating it. So now we have the selfish one over here and the selfish one over here now, right? So then the dualization means that, like I said, they're all on the same page like a family, and they can just run with it. So it creates this this power, right? And like I said, again, like in fire, the power to create personalized products, personalized visions, new paths of the self, right? So yeah. So basically, it's just be careful, because when you like even think about that, you can think about it like what's coming out on video, like fire is gonna be up here, right? And then like water's down here or something. Well, I had a totally different vision in mind, but it lost me. What was I thinking? About the dualization and the elements. How it creates a relationship. Well, anyway, just going back, right? The square is always going to create a power, or the conjunction is always going to square the environment by means of its subjects that are conjuncting. And this is always going to, through the means of the element, say fire, like create power in that direction, right? Oh yeah, and then I was thinking like power, if we think of fire like this way, right? If it was in this direction, and then we on the opposite side we have like water like relating, right? Um, um, then we think, okay, well, fire, um, fire is really good at doing these new things right up here, right to myself, to this way, right? It's really good at that direction. So then we start to think, well, if you have a lot of power in that direction, um, you're going to be going with the flow because this is a power element. You're not learning at first. It's just be careful now and make sure that, okay, is this something that if you really thought it through, people could relate to? Like if, maybe the people that aren't that supportive, like haven't seen the end product, but if you really do go through, is this going to be something that is relatable, uh, and is it going to be something that we can stick to? Is it something that people want to do again, that will want to do again, right? And so those are the sort of things that will pop up as the problems, right? Through the situations that you were easily able to have when you have conjunctions in a fiery way, right? In a fiery element. So, yeah. So I'm just trying to get a little bit. I'm gonna do, I guess, one more. We can just move into, let's say, what's a good one? Virgo. We'll do Virgo. Or yeah, we'll just do the Earth element because each sign, like we should know. I guess I'm not trying to break down the signs right now, but too much. But like Virgo's in the season of summer, right? Where the sun is no longer taking anymore. It just started giving daylight back. Versus Aries, son of a bitch that I'm just kidding. The son of a dragon that just took it all, was taking everything, right? And then we have Cancer over there that just uses it all, just expresses it, it just shines with it. So thanks, guys. I'm just gonna shine. Like everyone can have some. I'm just I'm glad Aries, you got me here. I mean, I know that people didn't like how to do it, but look, now we have all this stuff, and it's so enjoyable. I can make like a whole nest here. Holy moly, like decorated like bed pillows and stuff, like a whole cove of comfort. And I'm gonna invite whoever's got a good vibe. Like Aries, you're welcome. Keep the fights on the outside. Libra, you're welcome. Capricorn. But yeah. But yeah. But then, so that's kind of the summer side of things, right? And we could keep going right through the seasons. But so what I'm trying to say is that these, and understanding these elements and how they interplay on all levels can help you just see like on what levels conjunctions can take place, right? Because like if we have a planet in Aries and we have a planet in Cancer, well, there's like a lot of levels in which, on one level that they are conjunct is then they're both in the first four elements, and that is all the meta cardinal realm. And then we also have cardinal placements, right, and cardinal states with the decans, right? Because there's three layers that interweave the 3 and the 4, all in their own way. We have mathematical, we have the interplay and the interchange from the mathematical to the solar, and then we have the solar, basically. So going back to Virgo, for example, and if we'll just do it based on Earth, right? So I don't know, because we did the other one. So we know that Earth is stuck to its ways, and it's in its own way, right? So this is like very similar to the one where we were talking about earlier, creating new things, right? Fire on fire. The problem on Earth, though, is just personal refinement. Because now we already have what we're going to do. We know what we're going to do, and we're just going to keep doing more of that. We're going to dig as deep into and sort of add substance and add weight to what we're drawn into. And it's like that can be great if we're set on a great path that will sort of be, fruitful to the environment, right? But it's just we need our own time to work, right? That could be great, right? Like gardener in the back, salesman in the front type stuff. And it's like, as long as, too, like things don't get outdated, too. One of the problems here with refinement is refinement in one sense can be the best way to do something, right? Something in particular, the best way to do that thing that you're doing. Or refinement can be a way to stick to one thing and not innovate, right? And not see other ways that could actually benefit the entire process. So you see how, the conjunction in Earth, we sort of have this ability to stick to and this sort of ability to be like, no, that's my thing. I'm going to pour my all into it. You know what I mean? And so it's like, we're going to do that. And so it's just the problems are going to come up later in life, because now that's more of a power, because it's a conjunction, right? It's going to be, well, was that relatable? Was that something people later, when you've built all these things, they can kind of wander into these things that you've built, and again, like, how much did you miss out on? Again, how much did you not see the other ways because you were so focused on the refinement, right? Like, you were so focused on getting that one pen stroke right every time that you forgot there was a complete new way of writing pen, and you weren't even attached to the pen. It was the end product, but you needed to make sure that you were doing it to the best, right? So, what the fuck? Oh, is it still going? I totally thought someone called. I thought I messed it up. But yeah, so I think that about sums up conjunctions. It has power. Power is going to grant you ability, which is an Aries-like trait, which will be off the cusp, based through whatever energies the conjunction's located, thus, playing out those energies powerfully, right? Firepower would be like really creating new, amazing visions and ideas, right? Air power would be like really creating new topics, social situations, and ways to live it up and party, Water's power would be like to really dig into things and really get to know where people are coming from, to really develop a relationship, to really connect, right? And then Earth's power would be to really refine, really just stick to, close off, and bunker down, right? Get things done, right? So we have all the different powers, right, which would be the conjunction way. So all the different conjunctions that will lead you down those rabbit holes of each of those elements, however way, right? Remembering, like, fire over here is really going to miss out on that connection and that refinement, right? But it's really going to have access to those personalized visions, right? And then we have, like, the same thing of how the powers are sort of opposite over here on earth and air. Like, air over here has the power to do anything it wants, right? And people are actually digging it too, because it's making sure everybody's on board, right? It's always out there doing new things, just catching with the waves. Well, Earth is over here. It's not really relating like that. It kind of found something that's having to stuck into it. It's always inside, bunkering down, right? So it's like, that's what the the air can just lose that ground to where now it doesn't really have anything to refine anything too personal, anything too real that it can rely on, right? So it does end up like actually getting lost in the wind or the current of people, right? First, the opposite with the earth. Now, the earth can be so much tied into what it's doing and refining its skill that it completely closes itself off. It actually only learns its way, and now it can't connect, and it really can't. You know, at a certain point in that refinement, you can't see outside of that scope. You know, and so working out of that scope, it almost does become like you can kind of do new things, but even the new things you do are advancements of your structure you've already built. So, so yeah, quick video on conjunctions. Right on. Bubbling Citra Beach.